you're catching the replay or if you're going to be joining us live, we're so happy to bring you part 2 of Legacy and Leadership. I'm Jill Mokes. I'm the host of the Rewild Your Business podcast, and I am a coach for ambitious and pretty much uncompromising women. And I want to hand over Deb before we start setting up this conversation for today. I just want you to introduce yourself as well. So, let me hand over to you to just say a couple of words about who you are.
Thank you, Jill. Hello, everybody. Happy days with whatever moment you've chosen to connect with us. My name is Deb Dee, and I'm the founder of the Be Her Collective, also the host of the Be Her podcast. And I'm working with women in helping them to reclaim their intuitive wisdom and then return to heroine status in their life and in their leadership.
Thank you, Deb. It's worth just saying again, actually, if you didn't catch the first episode, that Deb and I go back a way now, and we've been kind of interlocked in our lives together. We've been each other's clients. I've been on retreat with Deb on the beautiful island of Tobago, but I've also worked with Deb on her business, and we've toed and froed being each other's clients, which has been an absolute joy. And getting to do this series together is really fun. So what are we talking about today in part 2? Well, we're going to talk about permission and all of the nuances around why we wait for permission, who we're waiting for the permission from, why we crave that validation that before we give ourselves permission to take action on what we want, to claim what we want for ourselves. All in all, we just want to explore that complicated relationship that so many of us have with permission. And when we were kind of talking about this, Deb, in preparation for this, we realized, didn't we, that we have a lot in common actually about the way this has shown up for us in our own businesses. So I wonder if that would be a good place for us to start this conversation around what's our own experiences of this challenge with giving ourselves permission to do the damn thing. I know this is something that's shown up for you as well as me. So where do you want us to kick off on that?
You know what I was thinking as you were bringing permission into the conversation? I returned to when you and I were working together, and I would turn up as one of the women you were working with. And it was with you that I uncovered the fact that I wasn't giving myself permission. Because I think permission can sit kind of in this blind spot. We don't realize that that's actually something that is blocking our evolution and the trajectory of where we want to go. Because I think for women, we're just so used to not having the permission.
Yeah.
And so for me, it was, I'm going to say it was really emotional. I remember feeling really emotional.
I remember this. Yes. Yeah. It was huge, actually.
It was huge. And I'm going to ground it into a story because I think story really helps to understand the landscape because permission is just so big. Particularly for women, particularly for leadership. So my friends, story time with Deb and Jill. So when I was working with
story time, I just love it. You are such a great storyteller. Let's go.
So when I was working with Jill, we got to this place where Jill could see what I couldn't see, which was I was playing way small, much smaller than was my potential and also smaller than my dream. Like my dream was big and beautiful, but I wasn't. And Jill had this moment in a coaching session where she said to me, your online community, you can no longer stay there. It is too small. And I remember feeling it in my gut and in my heart. And my visceral response was, no, don't take me away from the women. Because inside my online community, which is now 5 years strong, I have deep connections with these women. We have built this community together. It's where I feel the safest in
Yeah.
my leadership.
Yeah.
And I couldn't receive that I needed to transform my relationship with the community because it got really complicated inside of me because there was two things happening for me in that moment. Number one was my nervous system was freaking out because what you were asking of me, Jill, was to actually move beyond my comfort zone
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
to where
Mm-hmm.
I felt so safe inside that community.
Yeah.
And but more than that, the top note that literally brought tears, conversations over the next couple of weeks with some of the leaders within the community,
Mm-hmm.
with more tears, so much journaling. Like it was big for me. What what was in that which drove the tears to fall was I can't leave them. I feel responsible to stay with them.
Yeah.
I don't have permission to leave them because how would they be without me? And they never, no member of my community ever held me back. Nobody said, don't you dare leave. Nobody said, you are responsible for my well being and my leadership. None of that information was coming to me, but internally I had decided that it was my role to stay with those women and I was not allowed to get bigger because my fear is that I would leave them behind. And
Yeah.
I, as a woman who cares deeply for women, I found that nauseating and disturbing. And it was with conversations with you, and I'm going to say their names actually. It was Tosca Di Matteo and Valerie Lyons, two women within the community that I had conversations with. And they assured me, Deborah, we want you to go, not to leave us, but to get big and beautiful and do what you need to do. And it was three women, you, Tosca, and Val, who held me in this shifting from the inside out. I've got permission to actually become the leader that is within me. And it was game changing.
Mm.
And now, I mean, I won't give you the spoiler. This story lands somewhere beautiful months later, which I can tell at the end of the live. But it was a recalibration from the inside out, Jill.
Yeah, it really was. I really do remember this. And I think something that you've just talked about there, about how me, but also the other women in the community coming together and holding you as you gave yourself permission. I think this is something we do incredibly well as women.
Yeah.
Just accepting that responsibility for each other and for supporting each other. And because giving yourself permission to do something that's stretching you, for you it was incredibly stretching to leave behind the thing that felt so safe, that was
So
already
safe.
successful, and therefore, it would have been an easy decision to stay there. Such an easy decision to go with that. But you knew that you were meant for more. You knew what had to come. You knew it had to come. And I think having other women around you to hold you as you made that decision, as you gave yourself permission, because permission is all about decision making.
Yeah.
We call it permission, but actually it's generally it's giving ourselves the permission to make the decision, because it's not
And
always about
then,
going bigger
yeah,
either.
no, it's the decision and then that next step.
Mhm. Mm,
Because you can
that's
decide,
right.
okay, this is the way I need to go, but then to actually go, that's when it
Yeah,
starts to activate, and that's when you can
yeah,
start to recalibrate in the way you're
absolutely.
thinking about your leadership, in the way you're wired for growth. Yeah. And I
Right.
think there's two things there. I just want to highlight two things which women do amazingly well, which we've said, but I just kind of want to please, women, hear
Mm,
this. Other women can support us when we ask for that support. Because you and I were already in the coaching relationship, so you were with
right.
me. in this transformation. I could have kept that within a bubble.
Mhm.
But I was like, no, I need to reach out to Tosca. I need to reach out to Val. Like, I need these women to
Yeah.
hold me in this moment. And so permission to ask for support, because women are ready to support you, right? We can all identify the women in our life who turn up. And then the second thing was, I had a second thing, and now my brain's gone blank.
The second thing's done a runner. I just want to add something to what you were saying there. I want to add something to what you're saying there, because I think that permission to get the support, so giving yourself the permission and having the support of women around you, part of giving yourself permission is giving yourself the permission to be vulnerable. Give yourself the permission to be open about the fact that you can't do this on your own, especially if you are a woman who is stepping into legacy level work, leadership.
Absolutely.
If you are a woman who has big visions for what you want to do in the world, then there's a danger that you feel this need to only project authority, to only project, I am so confident and I'm good at this and I can do this, I've got this, right? But I actually think part of giving yourself the permission to do what you said, which is to go from making the decision to taking the action, is where also giving yourself the permission to be vulnerable, to say, you know what, this is scaring me, and I would love some support while I tread through this kind of quicksand of change. This is really deregulating, because usually I know what I'm doing and I'm moving up, and that feels quite scary. How can you help me? How can you hold me? What can I do for you? And as women, that's what we're so good at. We're so good at supporting each other.
We're so good at. I got what the second one, I got what number 2 was, which is around other women can see our blind spot.
Yes.
The women who know us well, whether it's in a coaching relationship, a guidance relationship, or just your biz besties, because you, Val, and Tosca could see what I couldn't see, because I was so in my story. You know, and I think that happens to all of us. So, like, the permission to ask for support, the permission for others to see us fully. So, Jill, has this turned up for you? Have you got a story about when this has turned up for you?
Oh my goodness, yeah. I mean, and you know what's funny? It always feels like a bit of a love fest with us, but that's because we have made such impact on each other. But so, little story here, but little backstory. I was someone who was not in tune with my intuition before I met Deb. I was someone who didn't understand how powerful tuning into my intuition could actually be for my business until I met Deb. I was one of those people who put spirituality and intuition and that kind of thing over the one side, and strategy and business and tactics and operations on the other side. Never the twain shall meet. And when I met Deb, not long after I met you, actually, I think, I had launched the Coaching Business Academy. And on the back of that, I very quickly launched after that a membership. And I think I knew quite quickly, because I'd been doing the work around my intuition, suddenly I knew what right felt like for me. I knew what aligned felt like for me. I wouldn't have known that before. Before, I would have been, well, this makes sense on paper, so it's a good strategy, or it's a good next move, or it's a good offer for me to put out there. But doing the work with you, I suddenly became so aware of what right felt like for me. And honestly, I put all the bells and whistles into promoting this membership, and on paper, it was successful. It was a profitable membership, but it didn't feel right for me. And I had to give myself permission, and this did not come easily, because I had all of the stories going around my head of, people are going to think I'm flaky. This is going to dent my credibility. We're only a couple of months in, if I have to publicly say I am going to close this membership because it doesn't feel good to me. This offer doesn't feel great for me. Maybe it's the timing, maybe it's whatever reason, it didn't feel right. And I just, all of those stories that I told myself around what people would think of me for doing that. They're going to think that I failed publicly. I'm having to admit some kind of failure in public, and maybe they're going to think I'm scared, and maybe they're going to think this, and maybe they're going to think the other. But the feeling of misalignment was incredibly strong. I knew I had to cancel the membership. I could not take people's membership money and feel right about it, even though I had good feedback. It wasn't that I was selling something people didn't want. It was that my heart wasn't in it. And that just didn't feel right for me. So I gave myself the permission to cancel that membership. As scary as that was, as embarrassing as that was, it's embarrassing to promote something and then to have to publicly turn around and say, you know what, I made a mistake with this. This isn't really right for me and I don't want to do this, is quite embarrassing. But I still gave myself the permission. I gave myself the permission to be that uncomfortable.
Yeah, and in that, Jill, it's like, yes, it's uncomfortable, potentially embarrassing. But what I saw in you, because I remember this for you too. I remember us talking about it before you announced it, and we worked through the strategy of what's possible. How do you pull this off?
Yeah.
But I remember seeing you in your leadership. Choosing yourself, choosing what is good for me and my business and what I'm building, telling the truth, making the hard decisions.
That's really important.
Making the hard decisions, even if they're really uncomfortable. Like, so I think our personal experience of giving ourselves permission is so different than what it looks like to the world.
So true. So true.
It's
and
so wired inside us.
It's so wired inside. And the ironic thing is that after I sent the email out to the members saying the truthful answer, I didn't try and dress the decision up in anything. I just gave the members the honest version of why I made the decision. And I got a beautiful email from one of the members thanking me and saying, you doing this in the way you've done it with such honesty and openness has allowed me to give myself permission to put down something that just isn't for me anymore. And I read that email and it was like all of that angst around getting to that decision and making it just melted away. And it was such a reminder that if we follow what's true for us, and if we're honest and transparent in the way we lead, in the way we do things, we cannot go wrong. It doesn't matter how many times you change your mind or decide something is no longer aligned for you. If you give yourself permission with that level of honesty and transparency, you just can't fail. So even though in the moment it feels like a failure.
Yeah, and it's also, I think it's a part of the ingredients. We just, let's accept that this is one of the ingredients in legacy and leadership.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not going to align.
Absolutely right.
Sometimes you're going to try something and within months you're going to be like, oh, that was a detour I shouldn't have taken. I've got to get back on the highway with where I was going. And
absolutely.
And to just accept that when we're building these big, beautiful businesses and brands and thought leadership and legacy, it's not all going to be pretty.
It's really not
going to be. Yeah. And it's like the permission to actually, I'm going to swear now, everyone, because I swear a lot. So I'm just letting you know.
Swear
the permission to fuck it up.
Right.
Like fuck it up and find out. Take the risk.
If you cannot get your mindset to a place where you will give yourself permission to fuck things up every now and then, then entrepreneurship is not for you.
Boom.
And that's the truth.
Yeah,
You know,
well,
because
entrepreneurship, safe, sure. Expansive, leadership, legacy, what we're talking about with the women that we work with,
right,
who are
right.
in it to win it and go
Mhm,
big and to
mhm.
make a difference and an impact in the world, guaranteed you are going to not only fuck it up sometimes, but you are going to really find the gold sometimes.
Absolutely.
Both.
And you can't get one without the other. You just cannot get
And you
one without
can't
the
get
other.
either without giving yourself permission
Mm,
to be that woman
mhm, mm.
who is in it, who, you know, like there's, I don't know about you, Jill, but there's some weeks, months, like projects within my business where one of the things I do first is I literally breathe in and tell myself I'm allowed.
Mm.
I'm allowed to create this in the way that it feels good for me. I'm allowed to do what I feel is good for me and my community and my business and my clients. Like I'm allowed.
Tell me
Like,
more about that, Deb, because
mm,
I'd love us to, you know, we're about 20 minutes in and we're going to go for half an hour. So we've got another 10 minutes or so. I would love us to bring this into the practical now of,
yes,
okay, I'm
please.
hearing it. I'm
Yes,
hearing about the permission.
please.
This sounds
Yeah,
fabulous, Deb and Jill, but how do I do it? How do
yeah,
I allow myself to give myself permission when it feels uncomfortable, when it feels hard, when it's
yeah,
counterintuitive to what I really want?
yeah.
How do I do that?
For me, because I work with energy first, so I'm guided by intuition, grounded in strategy, aligned with identity. So I'm working with that trifecta all the time. And my intuition was really clear. It's time to go big. Like there's bigger playgrounds, Deborah. You know, it was clear. So then the strategy piece is where my brain loves to go,
Mm.
but it was the identity that was the real
That
game
was the one
changer.
for you, wasn't
I
it? Yeah.
worked on, I really worked on, I keep doing this with my hands because it's like it's this inside job. And the way we work with the inside job is we literally work with our insides. And so for me, it was about the deep breath for my nervous system.
Mm-hmm.
And then the one positive declaration that I repeated. And so for me, it was I'm allowed. And it came up in so many ways, Jill. I'm allowed to earn good money. I'm allowed to charge for my value, not what I think other women can afford. I'm allowed to change my mind. I'm allowed to start a podcast with the stories that I want to tell. I'm allowed, I'm allowed, I'm allowed. And so now, if I find myself starting to get derailed when I'm in an expansion moment, I return back to where's my grounding stone? Where's the
Mm-hmm.
place I can land here with this? And for me, it's about starting with a clear anchor of every part of me, Deb, is coming along with this expansion. And the way we get there is we just align with I'm allowed to be the leader I know I am. I'm allowed to build the legacy that intuition has already shown me is so big and beautiful. And I'm allowed to do it in my way. And
Oh,
so
yeah.
when I need to, I return to it. And for everyone in the practicality, if you're finding is like, I want to give that a red hot go, this is literally how you do it. You find a statement that you feel. Fancy words of an affirmation ain't gonna work. You got to feel it. And for me, what I realized was I felt like I wasn't allowed. I felt like I had to stay with the women. I felt like I had to stay where it was safe. And so for me, when the declaration came out, I'm allowed, I felt it. I was like, that's right. I am allowed. And I want to give myself that gift.
Mm.
So you're going to have your own declaration, but it's not an affirmation. It's a declaration. It's a different
Yeah.
energetic
I
move.
agree.
You're just like, this is my truth. This is my truth that I am aligning my identity with. And you match that with deep breaths and an elongated out breath, which your nervous system goes, oh, yeah, thanks. Right? And that's all that you need. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. And repeat when as needed, because that will change your insides to where you're going rather than keeping you stuck behind the wall of permission.
Absolutely right. I'll share mine as well, Deb, which is because I'm very similar. I have a phrase that I use all the time, and that is, I choose me. So it's very simple. It's 3 words. I choose me. And the reason that that works so well for me is that permission and validation are very closely connected. And for a long time in my life, I craved other people's validation until I realized that there were certain things where I was spinning so much that it didn't matter how much validation I got from other people. If I wasn't choosing myself for the thing that I was wanting, no amount of external validation was ever going to give me the permission to go for it. I'm the only one that can give myself the permission to go for the thing I want, to take the risk, to make the decision, to up level my game. I'm the only one that can ever make that decision. No amount of external validation will work. So for me, I choose me and you're right, it's the repeating it.
Yeah.
It's the saying it and then letting it settle.
Yeah.
Letting it be true.
And sometimes for me, I need to add it with movement. Like sometimes I'll go outside and just walk on the grass for a bit. Or when I'm walking the beach in the morning, I might just kind of like stretch out with it. Because again, that's also going to support your mindset and your breath and your nervous system and everything that we need, which are the internal pathways of your identity. You know, you want to you're weaving it in there. Because now I go to I'm allowed, and it's almost like there's part of me that has a little flip. It's like, that's right. I'm allowed. You know, wasn't like that in the beginning.
Right.
You know, if it felt a little bit awkward. It takes time. And but that one thing I'm loving about both of our activations, because my friends, pick the one that works for you, choose your own statement. It's like what you do for people's business, Jill. It's not wild, it's not complicated, it's simple. You already actually have the permission. You just got to give it to yourself.
Yeah.
And Jill and I get it. It's complicated.
Yeah.
And you can make it simple because you can decide, I'm a leader who is building legacy. Full stop. No caveat. Nothing connect. I am a leader who is building legacy. Full stop. Because I choose me and I'm allowed.
Beautiful, Deb. That's, oh my goodness. I just want to take that in for a minute. That has just hit nicely home for me, because something you said just now as well about the simplicity. You just talked about how to anchor it, sometimes you go outside. It's about movement. It's about this. Don't we have this tendency as business owners? I believe we have a tendency to make things as complicated as they can possibly be. We think it's about knowing more, about understanding more, about more knowledge, more strategy, and it's rarely about that. Rarely about that. I would say that anyone watching this, if you're a business owner, you probably already have all of the knowledge you're ever going to need to create a successful business. You've already got all of that.
Everything.
That's not the thing.
Yeah.
Permission to go for it, permission to make it happen, permission to claim what you want for yourself. That's what will make the difference.
Yeah. Because Jill, you were with me, Tosca was with me, Val was with me, my whole community was with me, but I didn't actually need permission from them.
No,
I needed to give it to myself.
Absolutely.
I just want to anchor into this. because I know we're just over time, but I did
Yeah, we're
promise.
going
I
to
just
wrap
want to
up.
say clearly, I'm just going to like circle back to the story. When I did give myself permission, it didn't happen immediately. It took months, okay? So it was a process for me. When I did give myself permission, the response from the women in my community was exponentially expansive and generative and generous. And I remember really clearly one community, because they were all like, of course you're going to go, Deb. Of course. We've been waiting for you to
Yeah.
go,
Oh,
right?
now you
But
see it.
yeah, yeah. But one woman in particular sent me a message. It's kind of like the email that you got with your community when you made that decision. One woman sent me a message, which I still hold dear now. And she said, "Thank you for showing me what real leadership looks like.
Mm.
Now
Oh,
I feel like I can step into that for me."
beautiful, right? Oh my God. And that,
What a gift.
if ever you did need validation, there it is. But, you know,
There it
how
is.
wonderful to hear that. Yeah,
It's
beautiful.
like I still hold that, you know?
Mm.
It's just like by
Mm.
giving ourselves permission, the cherry on the top is that we're also reminding other women that they can do that for themselves too.
Deb, thank you so much.
Mm.
We're going to come back together again in a couple of weeks, right?
We
Because
are for part
we
3.
decided we have so much to share with you that we can't wait for a month in between them. For goodness sake. And I think, you know, part 3, we're going to be, you know, taking this conversation one step further. What happens when you give yourself permission? Then what's next? What
What's next?
does that up level look like? What does it feel
Such
like?
fun.
What's
This is where
possible?
you and I have real fun in this part of the playground.
We love
Because
it. Listen,
we've got the smarts and the skills to really, really activate. But Jill, I just have a little intuitive nudge that's come a couple of times while we've been
mm,
in this last part of the live. So I'm just going to share. Anybody out there who is hearing our stories about permission and you know that this is something for you, Jill, I'm going to speak for you now, but I'm sure that you're going to be good with this. Directly message either Jill or myself and say, I want to work with permission, or I need to give myself permission, or here's my story about permission. And you
mm,
may choose to send us a voice note. You may choose to write the story. You may choose to ask us a direct question. Because I think sometimes these lives, I can sometimes leave them going like, I want that, and I still need a little something. And so
yes,
I want to, Jill, I know you, so I know that you're going to be okay with
of
me
course,
um,
absolutely.
speaking for both of us. But
Please.
please, if you are wanting to really crack open permission in your leadership and your legacy, then Jill and I are here, and we
Yeah.
would lovingly embrace your story and your questions. So reach out to us directly or comment on this live, and we can both play in the comments. But
Yeah.
if you just want a conversation with one of us, please
Yeah.
knock on our
We're
door.
both,
We will open it.
Deb and I are both pretty accessible actually for this kind of thing, because we're the same, you know, we're not big on formality. We want to have a conversation, a real conversation, because we're real
A real
people.
conversation. Yeah,
A real conversation. Yeah, just do it. Just reach out. Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah. Thank you, Deb.
yeah.
I'm glad you said
Mm.
that.
Yeah, I
Good.
felt it. I felt it, Jill.
Definitely. Yeah. And of course, we're going to share this. So if you're not here with us live, yeah, I hope you're catching this on the replay as well. And we will be back in a couple of weeks. We'll let you know all about that too. In the meantime, please check out Deb's podcast, which is the Be Her podcast. Please go and look that up. It is amazing. I've been binging it. When she said, "Oh, the first few episodes are up," I was like, oh, and then that was it. That was my morning gone, because I just had to go and keep listening to all of them. It was wonderful.
Love it.
And
Love
my
it.
podcast is Rewild Your Business. So yeah, have a
Yeah.
listen to both of those, because again, lots more on these kind of topics that both of us talk about. So
Yeah.
okay, I think that's a wrap. Thanks for joining
Yeah.
me on my Substack this time. Back to yours next time, Deb.
Back to mine next time. And Everyone, you have permission.
You absolutely have permission. Bye for now.